One News Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. President Duterte called out rich nations for what he calls a man-made drought of vaccines as the pandemic continues to rage on. Maricel Halili with the rest of that story.
This is shocking beyond belief and must be condemned for what it is. A selfish act that can neither be justified rationally or morally.
President Duterte had this to say about rich countries discussing the use of COVID-19 booster shots, while poorer economies struggle with supply. In his speech before the United Nations General Assembly, Duterte said the current practice where poor countries play catch-up with the rich should stop.
It is a man-made drought of vaccines ravaging the poor countries. Rich countries hoard life-saving vaccines while poor nations wait for trickles.
The chief executive insists vaccination is the key to ending the pandemic. This is why the Philippines committed $1 million to COVAX, a vaccine-sharing facility led by the World Health Organization. It seeks to provide supply to countries with little to no means to buy vaccines.
Strongly urge our privileged partners to fully support the COVAX facility and further strengthen other cooperation mechanisms. We need this to save more lives, break the cycle of variants, and help ensure global economic recovery.
Apart from the pandemic, Duterte also discussed the government's campaign against illegal drugs. This comes on the heels of the International Criminal Court opening a full-blown probe on alleged crimes against humanity committed under the Duterte drug war.
Those found to have acted beyond bounds during operations shall be made accountable before our laws.
In spite of this, Duterte said the country is open to partnerships to help protect the citizens' rights, but also emphasized the need to respect the Philippine sovereignty. For News 5, Maricel Halili, We Are One News.
The House of Representatives has passed a bill seeking to impose value-added tax on digital transactions. Some 167 lawyers said yes to House Bill number 7425, which amends the National Revenue Code of 1997. A 12% value-added tax, or VAT, will be collected from transactions of non-resident digital service providers. Meanwhile, a lower tax of up to 5% is available for platforms providing services to the government. This measure covers social networks, online markets, streaming and e-learning sites, among others. And more than 3,000 families are currently affected by granular lockdowns imposed in various areas across the NCR. The MMDA insists this method is effective, with cases now at a downward trend. Jenny Dongon with the story.
Ate Marie, may papabili po ba kayo? Wala po, sige po.
Michelle has taken it upon herself to monitor her neighbors living in this small stretch of Barangay Tangdangsora. They are under granular lockdown after exposure to a COVID-positive patient. Though she's relieved that she is not in quarantine, Michelle knows she has to help.
Magme-message sila, sasabihin po nila, te, baka pwedeng pabili naman ng ganito. So, hindi ko muna po kinukuha yung pera nila. Inaano ko naman po dito kasi kung meron naman po akong kaibigan doon, papasabi ko po sa bantay na pwedeng pabili na lang ng ganito, pakiabonohan na lang. Pag kinukuha ko po yung pera nila nakalagay sa plastic, ina-alcohol din po namin yun. Saka namin binabato po dito sa mga nakabantay po.
Barangay Chairman Marlo Ulanday said this method is more efficient and practical.
Mas maganda kasi pinaliit natin yung area, no? At mas mamomonitor sila ng maayos.
According to the MMDA, more than 3,000 households have been affected by granular lockdowns in NCR, but assures that no barangay has been shut off. As for aid, 50% will come from the local government. The other half will be shouldered by the DSWD. In NCR, 1,000 food packs have been distributed in the cities of Caloocan, Las Piñas, Parañaque, Pateros, Mandaluyong, Manila, Marikina, Taguig, and Valenzuela.
The first 7 days will be the ayuda coming from the local government units, and then 8 to 14 days it will be the national government through the DSWD, and kung mag-extend pa po yung lockdown, so we will still be augmenting po yung food packs.
For MMDA Chairman Benhur Abalos, the scheme is effective.
Magmula noong September 15, pababa na po ang active cases. So napakaganda po ng trend that's although manipis pa rin po, sana magtuloy-tuloy.
There is no decision yet on whether granular lockdown will be extended or not. For News 5, Jenny Dongon, We Are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after this short break. Stay with us. You are still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Let's check out some stories from around the world. The Taliban government vowed to stop ISIS attacks in Afghanistan. Taliban spokesman Zabihullah Mujahid said there is no evidence that ISIS militants in Iraq and Syria are present in Afghanistan. This is despite ISIS claiming responsibility for a series of bombings in the city of Jalalabad over the weekend. U.S. President Joe Biden says the United States is not seeking another Cold War with China. In his first address before the United Nations, Biden acknowledged growing tensions between U.S. and China. Despite rejecting China's, quote, unlawful territorial claims in the South China Sea, Biden says the U.S. is ready to work with any nation that pursues peaceful resolution. Meanwhile, China is focused on the pandemic as it seeks to provide nations with 2 billion vaccines by the end of the year. This is on top of the 100 million doses that China is donating this year to developing countries. Let's take a quick look at today's other top stories. The Food and Drug Administration reiterates that no nasal spray treatment has been approved against COVID-19. FDA Chief Eric Domingo said the method is still being studied abroad. For now, only nasal sprays for decongesting are approved and available in the market. MMDA Chairman Benhur Abalos says there will be no changes in restrictions for the NCR just a week into the pilot run of the alert level system. However, they are hoping to downgrade to alert level 3 after the pilot test, noting improvements in cases. House leaders led by Speaker Lord Alan Velasco filed a bill seeking to extend the deadline for voters' registration. House Bill 10261 seeks to compel the Commission on Elections to move the deadline by a whole month or until October 31. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.